I have been planning on doing this for like the last week. I finished reading Feast of Crows last week during the BookTube-a-thon, and I've been wanting to sit down and talk about it on camera, but I just haven't had the chance. So this is what I want to do right now, is sit down and talk about Feast of Crows and all my thoughts and feelings. So this is obviously going to be filled with like spoilers galore, so if you don't want to know what happens in Feast of Crows, I suggest not watching this. So I read the first 3 last summer, and I just became massively obsessed. Last summer, literally all I thought about was Game of Thrones. I thought about it before I went to sleep, I thought about it when I woke up, because I was reading it all the time before I was going to sleep. So Game of Thrones was always on my brain last summer, and every time I would meet a new person and I would like ask them if they liked Game of Thrones so I could talk about them, that's all I could think about last summer. And I stopped at Storm of Swords for multiple reasons. One, I was extremely satisfied where Storm of Swords ended. Like, it was the perfect ending to like the perfect book. It was so good. And I had heard that Feast of Crows was a bit of a letdown after reading Storm of Swords. So I stopped reading it for a little while because I was just like, oh, wait a month. And then I ended up waiting a whole year. And then the other reason I didn't want to read it is because I always flip through before I start them and see who narrates the chapters. And I saw that Cersei narrated a lot of the book. And I hate Cersei. I hate Cersei more than I hate anyone else in the Game of Thrones universe. I was thinking this through, and I hate Littlefinger quite a bit, but at least I respect Littlefinger. I respect him and how intelligent and just how he controls everything. He's literally the catalyst for everything that happens in these books. So I hate Littlefinger so much for what he's done, but I can respect him because he's so smart and so good at what he does. Cersei, I just hate, because not only is she an evil bitch, but she's a useless evil bitch that just is so dumb. I just want to slam my head against the wall every time I read a Cersei chapter. It just makes me so angry and full of rage. Her solipsism is just too much. Like, she just thinks she's so smart and she's so stupid. And just, she's so entitled to, like, can't even articulate how mad she makes me. Like, and her whole jealousy over Marjorie because she's younger and prettier, and just, she just needs to be in control of everything. And she just was lucky to be a queen and be in this position, and she just looks down on every single other person in her life. And how she treats Jaime, like, Jaime was so loyal and just like the perfect knight towards her. Not in general, Jaime's not the perfect knight, but the perfect knight towards her. Like, chivalry, loyalty, everything to Cersei. And just the way that Cersei treats Jaime in this book makes me so angry. And I love the ending when Cersei is locked up in the church and she sends the letter to Jaime, and Jaime just like, no, I'm not sending a reply. Nope, it's not happening. It's not happening. And I'm like, yes, Jaime, yes. I think that's personally where I think the book should have ended, is on that, because I realized the Sam chapter at the Citadel makes everything full circle, because the prologue started with the Citadel, but I felt it was a bit of a letdown after like the epic Jaime saying, no, it's not gonna happen, bitches, no. So the ending was so, I was texting my friend about how much I hated Cersei and how I cannot stand what is happening. And he's like, don't worry, she gets it in the end. And I'm like, she damn well better get it in the end, because this is so irritating. So when she was arrested, and when the Kettleback was up there, and he's like, yeah, I slept with a queen, that queen right there. And she's like, oh shit, and she still thinks that she has the power to get herself out of the situation. And it's hilarious because those religious people would not have the power they have unless Cersei wasn't so idiotic to give them all that power. And so her being stuck in that situation, naked and hungry and just so upset, gives me so much joy in my heart. So much joy in my heart. It's almost like when Joffrey got killed, joy in my heart. See, even like my hatred for Joffrey isn't quite as strong because he's just so straight up evil. And then Cersei's kind of a human, and she has human qualities, and she cares about her children. But like, she cares about her children to like a selfish end. Like, oh, I'm protecting Tommen from Marjorie. Marjorie is such a better influence on Tommen than you are, you stupid crazy bitch. There's gonna be 10 minutes of me just complaining about how much I hate Cersei, which maybe is not entertaining, and you've switched off already. But yeah. So my two favorite things. Well, okay, let's say the three things that I loved about this book the most were, one, the fact that Bronn named his stepson Tyrion. Oh my god, when I read that, my heart just swelled. I was just like so emotional and so happy. The end, in season 4, when Bronn tells Tyrion that he's not going to fight for him in the duel, like that broke my heart. And like seeing that Bronn named his son Tyrion, stepson, not blood son, Tyrion, just filled me with so much joy. And then immediate panic, because I'm like, oh shit, Cersei is not going to like this. And then I was like, oh god, Bronn better not die for this. If Cersei has Bronn killed, I will flip out. And so when it got to the part where Cersei sent someone to have Bronn killed, and Bronn just totally owned him like a boss, and now has his own little castle, and then when that chick, I don't remember what her name is, that chick goes to Cersei and it's like, Bronn's in control now, what do we do? And then Cersei sends that bitch to the creepy mad scientist to be like experimented on. I'm all like, whoa. But the whole Bronn naming his son Tyrion and then gaining control of the castle, love that. Made my heart feel so happy. And then my other favorite thing about the book was Arya's storyline. Arya, who gets 3 chapters in what is how many pages are in this book? 960 something, with not including the index. 960, 70, how long is it? 978 pages. Arya only gets 3 chapters, and her storyline is easily the most exciting storyline in it. And I loved everything that was happening with her and Braavos, and the cliffhanger that they leave Arya on in this book. I ran to the bookshelf and flipped through Dance of Dragons so I could read what happened right after that, because like, you can't just leave me with the fact that Arya is blind. You can't just leave a person like that. And then she was blind. No. And then I love the intersecting of Sam and Arya's storylines. I cheat and I skip ahead and I read chapters. If I'm enjoying a certain character, we'll skip and read all their chapters in a row. I've done that through all the books. So I skipped ahead and read all the Arya chapters without having read some of the Sam chapters, so I didn't realize Sam was in Braavos at first. But the bit, Darien's the singer's name, the bit when Arya kills Darien, but you don't realize that she's killed Darien at first. She just goes home to the guy. She's like, yeah, I have this pair of boots. And you're like, oh, she has these pair of boots. Where do they come from? And then she goes back to the monastery or whatever that place is, we would call that. And then he asked her what she learned. And she tells them that I killed Darien and took his boots. I like flipped out. I was like, oh my god, you're so fucking awesome. And Arya's the best. And I love Jon Snow so much, and just the fact that Darien betrayed Jon Snow and was just gonna stay with the prostitutes, and I'm like, yes, Arya, yes, Jon wouldn't be proud of her, because Jon is super honorable and wouldn't just kill people randomly, but like, thank you for doing this for Jon. And just like, there's so many like times throughout the 4 books so far that I want Arya to end up at the Wall so her and Jon can be reunited. I need a Stark reunion so bad. Like, my heart needs a Stark reunion. It's never gonna happen. But my heart needs a Stark reunion just so badly. But anyway, so Arya's storyline, so awesome. And I really like Sam's storyline too. That was one of the other ones that I flipped through and read ahead of time. And Maester Aemon's death, the little deaths are always the ones that get me. Like, going into a lot of the books, I knew Ned died, I knew Drogo died, I knew Robb died, I knew Catelyn died. I knew they died before I started reading them. And the ones that hit me the most are like the little ones, like Maester Aemon and Maester Luwin and like Commander Mormont. Those are the deaths that hit me the hardest. I was reading when when Maester Aemon died. I was reading that in public, and I was like starting to tear, and I'm like, I can't tear, but it was so heartbreaking. And he wants to get back, and he wants to see the dragons. Maester Aemon is such like a sweet, warming presence, and it just a little bit broke my